Chapter 2: Separations and Unions. The second quarter of my life. My husband, the youngest child after three sisters, had lost his father when he was just 19. He later finished his engineering the hard way, his mother spending almost all their savings on his education and hostel expenses. He was eager to start earning right after finishing his studies. Because of this, he decided to pause his ambition to pursue higher studies in management. A year after our second son was born, Bombay University started a part-time master's degree course in management. My husband grabbed the opportunity and got his much desired master's in management. His classes were on weekends, so he had to miss many social and family events for 3 years. We made do with a single income despite its limitations. But when the children started school, our needs grew. I then realized our situation. There was a monthly struggle to stretch the salary till the end of the month. Even then, the idea of going to work, leaving the children the whole day, was too agonizing for me. My husband, understanding my plight, took all the financial responsibility on his shoulders. He started a part-time business supplying industrial soap to a large factory to supplement our income from his 9-to-5 job. He also taught management to students on the weekends. Although we could manage to fulfill our household needs, we could not save much. Those days, my husband had to travel within India for work. One time, he got an opportunity to travel to the US for a few weeks. He was impressed with the lifestyles and the ethical work culture there. He made up his mind to send our children to the US for higher education. With that goal, he started looking for a job abroad for a higher salary so that we could save much more for the future. Eventually, he received a job offer from a big group in the Middle East. He was unsure what his experience in the new country would be like. We had heard many stories of people who were unhappy and had to return, leaving their new jobs there. Before resigning, he confided in his boss. He wanted the new job to save more. He was also anxious about working in a new unknown country. His understanding and kind boss advised him to explore the new job. He added, "If you must return, I'll see you get your job back." This kind boss of my husband at that time is today one of the top industrialists of India. May his tribe increase. My husband, assured by his boss, left us and our cozy home. He wanted a better future for our family. At first, it was hard for him to adjust to the new country. But eventually, he stayed there for the next 16 years. He would visit India once a year, and we would visit him during the children's holidays. The parting at the airport was very painful. We were going to live apart after almost 15 years of being together. I had to manage everything alone. Thankfully, my kids and I had a wonderful support system. My mother-in-law at home was very strong and encouraging. I also had my father, brother, and my husband's sisters who lived in Mumbai, who would visit us often and were always ready to help. We were fortunate to have neighbors who were like our family members. As the children were busy with their school and other activities, I would feel a bit lonely. I wanted to be occupied with something. Being fascinated by computers, I decided to take up some courses in computer languages. I took a class to learn the language called Basic. I found that very interesting, particularly the programming and coding part of it. Those days, in 1985, Apple computer desktops were becoming popular. They were quite expensive, and only wealthy people could buy them. To practice programming in Basic, we bought a small computer, a less expensive one, named Sinclair. My children were fascinated, and they also learned the language quickly. I remember one program we wrote together. It would play the popular song from The Sound of Music on running. After that, I did another course on database management called DBase. Slowly, learning different computer languages and software became my passion and pastime. I did many courses during that time and learned almost all Microsoft Office tools such as Word, Access, Excel, etc. And then learned more complex ones such as Oracle and the query language SQL. Initially, it seemed like I was learning all this randomly without any aim. Later, I realized that all this learning was for a reason. It was to be a part of the future set for me by the power high up there. I balanced homemaking duties between India and the Middle East, going through the emotional highs and lows of frequent goodbyes and joyful unions. My mother in law was a great help in looking after the home affairs in my absence. She would also accompany us abroad during our children's holidays. We hired a capable young woman who managed cooking and household chores on a part time basis. The boys were old enough to care for themselves and their grandmother. At that time, I pursued a course in environmental science from Louisiana State University's distance education program, motivated by my concern for the environment. I could continue the course from home in India and abroad. The study material was sent to me monthly through the mail, and I had to submit assignments. This course covered all facets of world affairs such as food, population, pollution, world economics, and health. It was a 1-year course. I completed the course successfully, taking my exam at the US Embassy in the city where we resided. Although this course did not benefit me professionally, it broadened my knowledge. Once, when visiting my husband abroad, I received a call from our elder son. At that time, he was doing his engineering. He said he was not well, and the doctor had diagnosed him with jaundice. I immediately rushed to Mumbai to take care of him. After a few days, while he was recovering, he told me that a girl, who was his friend, wished to pay a visit to see him. He had never spoken about any girls before that. I asked him why this girl wanted to visit, taking the risk of infection. He said they both cared for one another deeply. She was our neighbor's daughter, Rupal, a smart, pretty teenager in the 12th grade living in another building. I had watched her blossom from a cute little girl and was thrilled to hear about their relationship. All of us happily welcomed her into our family. After a few days, her mom invited me to their home. We, as neighbors, had seen each other for many years. I admired her mother for how impeccably she was always dressed and conducted herself with grace. I happily visited them. Both our children promised to prioritize their studies, ensuring their relationship would not interfere. Their career goals were clear and ambitious. He wanted to study further after his engineering studies, and she wanted to become a doctor. They did as they had assured us. Samir went to the US for higher education. Rupal graduated with a medical degree in India after 5 years. They were married soon after, and she accompanied him to the US. He earned his PhD, and she specialized in internal medicine with an MD from the US. Our younger son, Kabir, finished his engineering degree, moved to the US, and received his MS degree. While in college, our children took minimal help from us. I still don't know how they managed all their extra expenses then. They all got settled. Our sons secured excellent jobs in the US. Our daughter in law went on to become a brilliant, successful doctor. For more than 13 long years, my husband's demanding job in the Middle East forced us to live separate lives. With him residing in the scorching desert landscape, while I stayed home most of the time, managing household and raising our children. Despite the physical distance, we stayed connected through regular phone calls and emails, keeping each other updated about our daily lives. He was tired of living alone. My husband's sister in Pune was very kind to take care of Ma. So, I started spending more time abroad with him. Our children were far away in the US, and my husband was at work all day. Since I was not driving, I was homebound and could go out only after he returned from work. I had plenty of free time and did not have much to do. Approaching my 50th year, I thought all these years I had been motivating my children and my husband to achieve big. However, I had accomplished very little in life. I spent all the time taking care of my family and kids. I knew it was important, but it was nothing extraordinary. For a while, I helped the UNICEF office sell their greeting cards during the holiday season. But that was only for a short time. I was looking for a sense of fulfillment in life.